A new major update has hit the game, bringing the Styraco TLC, but also a vast amount of dinosaur stat changes, new concavenator updates, critter updates, and more. Today, we're going over it all. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the major update. So, styracosaurus has gotten a TLC, and that is now in the game. This includes overhauls to the model, the subspecies. It adds a bunch of new abilities and more. You can check out my full showcase of it here, because it's a very big and thorough showcase of it. It's about 20 minutes long, checking out all the abilities, the models, everything like that. They've also updated the swimming animations, jumping animations, and turning animations for concavenator. Someone said in the back of chat that maybe this could mean that concavenator is next. What are your thoughts? Do you think it could be? I'm not too sure, but either way, here's the animations for it. Now, the other two major updates revolve around critter updates and audio improvements. So let's talk about both of them individually. Let's start off with the critter improvements. They've improved critter chase logic, added swimming to Dinosuchus, where Dinosuchus will chase you into the water and out of the water. It cannot dive underwater. And as I've said, this is a first initial implementation of swimming critters, and more critters will follow in the future. We've also fixed Pamelaria not contributing to the kill critter quest, and fixed instances of critter jittering. Now, I'm going to hop on and properly showcase the Dinosuchus swimming. Now, when I done it on stream, I might have done it wrong because I got it to spawn in the water, but it just would refuse to go in land like it did before, but it would swim, and that was quite terrifying to see. Anyways, let's go ahead, check it out in game, and I'll let you know what I think of it, and I'd love to know your thoughts on it too. So hello, we are now in game, and we're actually checking out the new critter update, and that is that Dinosuchus can now swim. Now, I tested this on a normal Dinosuchus, but we have an alpha Dinosuchus which actually works better. So here he is on land. He's gonna be attacking me if he really desires. Come on, bite me, punk. And as you can see, he's hurting me, so I'm gonna run away now to where I think will be the right place to go, and that is the water. Oh my god, he can actually swim. Oh, that is terrifying. That is such a goofy look. Look at his head out the water, and you can swim through, and he'll bite you. Yeah, he's like, you can't just like. Yeah, I think he's quite hard to like get away from. What about if you go under? How will he act if you go right under him? Because they can't dive. And he swims away. I swear I heard like a Sarko. That was such a weird sound. But yeah, this is the Dinosuchus swimming alpha version, and it is terrifying. Now, if you like run through like this, he's only most time able to hit your tail, so that means you are going to deal less damage. He's going to deal less damage to you. It's the same in the water as well. See, he pops his head up, you swim through, spins around really quickly, bites your tail, and he's not the slowest swimmer either. definitely a dangerous one to come up against. So we're spawning a Deinosuchus, a normal adult Deinosuchus. Now he is hopefully going to be coming after me now. Yes, he is. And he will get stuck in the water, so he'll still chase me. Oh, never mind. No, he's actually swimming after me now. That is great to see. So, Deinosuchus, regardless of the growth, will come after you. There are some bugs, right, where they do get stuck, like here. And especially if you spawn it in the water. For example, if I just really quickly do it again and spawn... If I really quickly do it now and spawn it in the water, how will it behave? He's under the water. Is he going to float to the surface? Yes. Now, how is he going to act on the land? Will he still come out to get me when I go onto the land? There is that guy there. He is stuck in the water still. Is this guy going to be stuck in the water? Yeah, they both get stuck here. I think maybe it's the terrain. Are they now able to swim after me? Yeah. So, there are some bugs where they do get stuck and they can't go back on land, but other than that, it's actually pretty decent. Now, for the audio improvements, they've added distant calls to tyrannotitan. The devs have said they are working on improving distant dinosaur calls. This is currently only implemented on tyrannotitan's aggressive and broadcast calls. We'll be adding updated distance calls to more dinosaurs in the future. I would love for you guys to have a listen to this. I'm going to have a demo of it right now, but let me know your thoughts because I think this is really, really cool. They've improved ambient flyer effects as well. Now, I'm not going to lie. The ambient flyer effects was in general fixes. I don't actually know if it's an audio update because I haven't actually gone and tested it yet. But I'd assume that it was an audio update. And that's why I've lumped it into this segment. Let's check out both of them now. Now, combat and dinosaurs have been updated, but the big thing here is the dinosaurs. We're talking about that next, so I'm sorry, you have to wait a little bit. For combat changes, however, they've improved descriptions of several abilities, improved backhand tolerance for buoyancy to prevent rubber banding in water near shore, removed tail slam locking users in place for Anodontosaurus based on community feedback, fixed a bug where quick vigor made users immune to damage under certain conditions, fixing severed tendon buff being stacked in 2 separate piles. Flock migration now has double the range and provides 20% flight stamina boost to all flyers, and fixed Dinosaurus having incorrect damage at smaller growth stages for claw attack and base damage. Oh, claw attack, base damage, sorry. But now's the part that you've been waiting for. The dinosaur stat changes. There are a handful here. Let's go ahead and talk about them. 13 dinosaurs have suffered the wrath of the developers today with stat changes. Now, there's 2 that I think stick out. Achillobator and Hatzegopteryx. I think those are the 2 that people are probably not too happy with. So let's talk about them, shall we? I would love to know your thoughts on the hats. Are you on team I like this or team I hate this? Let me know. Anyways, Achillobator. They've reduced Raptor Strike scaling to 60% from 100%. They've increased Bark stamina cost to 30 from 15. Decreased Mob Boss attack buff per stack to 13 from 17.5. And now for Albertoceratops. They've finally added a second backlimb slot. Huzzah! But wait. Its cooldowns are shared between attacks, so in most cases it's pretty much pointless. Increased counter-attack base damage to 85 from 35, fixed counter-attack 2 times damage bug, increased block damage reduction to 30% from 10%, decreased stomp base damage to 120 from 150. Now we move into Anodontosaurus. They've decreased crouch stance change timer to 5 seconds from 8, decreased max health to 850 from 900, decreased bleeding heal rate to 0.04 from 0.064, decreased venom heal rate to 0.024 from 0.032, increased tail smash base damage to 250 from 220, increased tail smash stamina cost to 20 from 15, decreased fortification armor buff per stack to 5% from 10%, increased swerve stamina cost to 12 from 18, increased tailspin base damage to 50 from 40, and they've added knockback to tailspin. The value is 8 for it. Ceratosaurus has mainly received some buffs here. Increased fracture of charge bite to 18 from 10, increased charge bite base damage to 45 from 30, decreased thrash reflect to 50% from 75%, increased berserker damage buff to 25% from 10%, increased rapid strikes base damage to 4 from 2.5, increased carrion feeder damage debuff to 15% per stack from 5%, reduced maxed carrion feeder stacks to 3 from 5, increased cracked scoots damage reduction to 15% per stack from 10%. Reduced max cracked scoot stacks to 3 from 5. So before you could get to 50%, and now you can only get to 45% on a max stack. So technically that's worked out worse. Increased lunge base damage to 60 from 40. Increased swerve base damage to 80 from 70. For Daspletosaurus, they've decreased running speed to 1025 from 1050. Decreased turn in place by 15%. Increased running turn by 7.5%. Increased carnage damage buff to 30%. Decreased crushing bite cooldown to 8 seconds. Increased shatter bone break to 7. The damage for it, by the way. And now it's the one that you probably all already know about and hate. Before I get into it, I've asked before and I'll ask again. Hatzigopteryx fans, Hatzigopteryx players, I know you hated me when I put it in a low tier list ranking. Maybe I was preemptively preparing for this. I'm joking, by the way, but I'd love to know your thoughts about this. Are you against it? Do you like it? Is Hatz better now? Is it worse now? Let's talk. They've moved clamp to generic slot, retired second head slot, decreased group size to 3 from 4, re-enabled clamp to be used while flying, increased max health to 600 from 550, increased health recovery rate to 1.4 from 1.25, increased ground acceleration multiplier to 2 times from 1, decreased beat clack cooldown to 15 seconds from 150, increased beat clack range to 25 meters from 10, decreased shriek of horrors cooldown to 60 seconds from 180, increased shriek of horror speed debuff to 25% from 15%, decreased death croak cooldown to 60 seconds from 150, increased death croak corpse check range to 10 meters from 3, increased death croak stamina cost to 20 stamina from 0, increased death croak armor debuff to 40% from 15%, increased pet cooldown to 2 seconds from 1.5, increased carnage damage buff to 30% from 20%, decreased clamp stamina cost to 0.25 from 1, decreased clamp cooldown to 7 seconds from 10, decreased clamp carry stamina cost to 0.25, made barrel roll unable to be used while flying in place, fixed barrel roll and flail putting users in slow fly state, and increased wing beat knockback force to 22 from 17. Kentrosaurus increased tail attack bleed amount to 0.4, increased tail swing base damage to 70, increased detonate base damage to 20, increased detonate damage ratio to 125, increased spit range to 10 meters. Kentrosaurus got a big buff there. Miragaia, they've reduced the max health to 600 from 650, increased detonate base damage to 20, increased detonate damage ratio to 125, increased spit range to 10 meters. Technically, it's a nerf in terms of the health. Everything else is just getting it in line with Kentro. Pachycephalosaurus has some updates as well. Increased jump force multiplier at adult to 30%. Increased fall death speed to 3,500. Increased charge speed to 1,800. Decreased charge stamina cost to 15. Doubled airhead air control, decreased kickboxer damage buff to 50%, decreased kickboxer stamina cost increase to 20%. There's still so much to cover. This is going to be so long. Picnomosaurus, they've decreased bleeding heal rate to 0.024, decreased venom heal rate to 0.012, increased bite damage to 50, increased running stamina cost to 0.7, increased charge cooldown to 20 seconds, increased headbutt base damage to 60, decreased juggernaut damage penalty to 5%, decreased juggernaut damage buff to 25%, increased deep breath stamina recovery to 0.4, decreased crack scoots armor buff per stack to 5%, decreased knockout tail cooldown to 20 seconds from 25 seconds. And now we go into the final three: Styraco, Suko, and Tyrannotitan. For Styracosaurus, decrease max health to 600 from 700, decrease combat weight to 2200, rebalance health recovery values at smaller growth stages, decrease headbutt base damage to 50, increase headbutt bleed to 0.4, increased charge speed increased to 1800, decreased charge cooldown to 30 seconds, increased charge base damage to 90, rebalanced the charge stamina cost, removed a bunch of abilities, added a bunch of abilities. This is for the Sty TLC. Once again, I recommend you check out the video that I have on the screen now. Suko Mimus is next. They've added a second head slot. Cooldowns are not shared for it, which is very interesting. Decreased combat weight to 4500, increased bite damage to 55, decreased dry buffs to 15%, increased claw attack base damage to 40, decreased dry buffs to 15%, increased muffle raw swim turn radius to 75%, increased muffle raw swim speed buff to 30%, decreased muffle raw cooldown to 180 seconds, decreased golden rage cooldown to 180 seconds, increased backhand knockback slightly, increased backhand base damage to 55, increased strong lung stamina recovery boost to 50%, increased hook snap damage buff per stack to 50%, decreased hook snap base damage to 50, increased parch scales swim speed debuff to 20%, decreased parch scales combat weight reduction to 500, decreased parch scales health buff to 50, re-added effect to waterlogged, now buffs combat weight by 500 from 0, decreased shark bite bleed amount to 0.4, decreased lunge cooldown to 12, decreased lunge stamina cost to 7.5. Overall, probably some buffs there in general as a wide amount of things. And finally, for Tyrannotitan, they've decreased blood-soaked stamina recovery boost to 25%. And that's all the dinosaur stats. There's a lot of changes there. Whew. That was a lot to go through. That was 9 minutes of recording, the raw footage just rattling over that. That was crazy. So, there are some general fixes as well in this update, and this is all of them. They've fixed vocal call menu not working with hold and release for controllers consistently. They've improved weather sounds and ambient sounds to remove or reduce some ear straining sounds, fixed invisibles trophies, fixed rain disappearing on rare occasions at certain camera angles. They haven't fixed it disappearing in replay mode though. If it's stormy or raining, it just disappears and your dinosaurs look wet and it looks a bit silly. Fixed ambient bird spawn being scaled incorrectly, improved wind physics optimizations, fixed inconsistencies with stacks for Albertoceratops second wind, optimizations to ability loading, fixed crashes with nesting, fixed a critters rarely becoming invisible, fixed a damage related crash, general crash fixes and optimizations, fixed issues with Albertoceratops sounds not stopping correctly when attacking, fixes to mobile VFX optimization, fixing sever tendon buff being stacked in 2 separate stacks, fixed admin panel not showing dinosaur stats, fixed admin panel getting stuck in some instances, optimizations to the footsteps, decreased biome wind frequency change, optimizations to Xbox One and PS4, reduced wind volume by 30%, fixed Club Fortress applying dazed, fixed fortification giving stacks from environmental damage. Some of them could have gone literally in dinosaur updates, and some of them could have literally gone in the sound updates, like the ambient sounds and stuff like that. Regardless, that's all the general fixes, and that's also the update. Styracosaurus, I was going to include the whole showcase in this video, but double the length and it will be quite pointless. Regardless, you can check that video out. It's on the screen now. It's my latest upload before this one. Anyways, I'd love to know your thoughts about this update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but other than that, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Peace.